The world is evolving. The world is changing with energy from nature, and the need for a cleaner environment is changing rapidly and urgently. Imagine an economy, a society where organic waste from agricultural, livestock, and industrial activities is converted into clean energy, helping to reduce waste and strengthening the country's circular economy. At the same time, through the use of photovoltaic systems and energy storage units, Greece is reducing its dependence on fossil fuels and achieving energy independence. Ekoelas contributes to building a better and cleaner future by applying technologies that benefit the economy and future generations. With innovative solutions, it not only protects the environment, but helps Greece lead the way in green growth and economic prosperity, making it one of the greenest regions in Europe. Ekoelas, green present, clean future.
The world is on a journey towards a green future. RWE has already undergone a fundamental transformation. Today, we are one of the leading companies in the field of renewable energy. Our growing green strategy sets the course for the next stage of our journey. Powered by our shared vision, transforming the energy world for the better. Since we launched our growing green strategy in 2021, we've had to overcome quite a few hurdles along the way, and we still have a challenging path ahead. But throughout our transformation, we stand by our commitment to keep on supplying clean and reliable energy to the world. And we are well on track. Since 2021, we've significantly expanded our green generation portfolio in our core markets. Along the way, we've also unlocked new potential through acquisitions. Our passion for innovation guides us, enabling us to embrace the latest available technologies on the way to becoming net zero. We're now embarking on the next stage of our journey. Our ambition is to boost our future green growth while decarbonizing our portfolio even faster. We are reducing our CO2 emissions in line with the 1.5 degree pathway and will exit coal by 2030. we'll be net zero by 2040. That's how we'll have a positive impact on the world we live in. We are accelerating our green growth by investing more than ever in the energy transition. We have more than 125 years of success and experience behind us. So we are convinced that our growing green journey is going to be just as successful, driven by our incredible Team RWE around the world. Together, we are leading the way to a green energy world.
The world is evolving. The world is changing with energy from nature, and the need for a cleaner environment is changing rapidly and urgently. Imagine an economy, a society where organic waste from agricultural, livestock, and industrial activities is converted into clean energy, helping to reduce waste and strengthening the country's circular economy. At the same time, through the use of photovoltaic systems and energy storage units, Greece is reducing its dependence on fossil fuels and achieving energy independence. Ecoelas contributes to building a better and cleaner future by applying technologies that benefit the economy and future generations. With innovative solutions, it not only protects the environment, but helps Greece lead the way in green growth and economic prosperity, making it one of the greenest regions in Europe. Ecoelas, green present, clean future.
The world is on a journey towards a green future. RWE has already undergone a fundamental transformation. Today, we are one of the leading companies in the field of renewable energy. Our growing green strategy sets the course for the next stage of our journey. Powered by our shared vision, transforming the energy world for the better. Since we launched our growing green strategy in 2021, we've had to overcome quite a few hurdles along the way, and we still have a challenging path ahead. But throughout our transformation, we stand by our commitment to keep on supplying clean and reliable energy to the world. And we are well on track. Since 2021, we've significantly expanded our green generation portfolio in our core markets. Along the way, we've also unlocked new potential through acquisitions. Our passion for innovation guides us, enabling us to embrace the latest available technologies on the way to becoming net zero. We're now embarking on the next stage of our journey. Our ambition is to boost our future green growth while decarbonizing our portfolio even faster. We are reducing our CO2 emissions in line with the 1.5 degree pathway and will exit coal by 2030. we will be net zero by 2040. That's how we'll have a positive impact on the world we live in. We are accelerating our green growth by investing more than ever in the energy transition. We have more than 125 years of success and experience behind us. So we are convinced that our growing green journey is going to be just as successful, driven by our incredible Team RWE around the world. Together, we are leading the way to a green energy world.
The world is evolving. The world is changing with energy from nature, and the need for a cleaner environment is changing rapidly and urgently. Imagine an economy, a society where organic waste from agricultural, livestock, and industrial activities is converted into clean energy, helping to reduce waste and strengthening the country's circular economy. At the same time, through the use of photovoltaic systems and energy storage units, Greece is reducing its dependence on fossil fuels and achieving energy independence. Ekoelas contributes to building a better and cleaner future by applying technologies that benefit the economy and future generations. With innovative solutions, it not only protects the environment, but helps Greece lead the way in green growth and economic prosperity, making it one of the greenest regions in Europe. Ekoelas, green present, clean future.
The world is on a journey towards a green future. RWE has already undergone a fundamental transformation. Today, we are one of the leading companies in the field of renewable energy. Our growing green strategy sets the course for the next stage of our journey. Powered by our shared vision, transforming the energy world for the better. Since we launched our growing green strategy in 2021, we've had to overcome quite a few hurdles along the way, and we still have a challenging path ahead. But throughout our transformation, we stand by our commitment to keep on supplying clean and reliable energy to the world. And we are well on track. Since 2021, we've significantly expanded our green generation portfolio in our core markets. Along the way, we've also unlocked new potential through acquisitions. Our passion for innovation guides us, enabling us to embrace the latest available technologies on the way to becoming net zero. We're now embarking on the next stage of our journey. Our ambition is to boost our future green growth while decarbonizing our portfolio even faster. We are reducing our CO2 emissions in line with the 1.5 degree pathway and will exit coal by 2030. we will be net zero by 2040. That's how we'll have a positive impact on the world we live in. We are accelerating our green growth by investing more than ever in the energy transition. We have more than 125 years of success and experience behind us. So we are convinced that our growing green journey is going to be just as successful, driven by our incredible Team RWE around the world. Together, we are leading the way to a green energy world.
Περίμενε, όχι, θέλω να δω αν είμαστε εντάξει. Okay, please, παρακαλώ καθίστε, να ξεκινήσουμε σιγά σιγά. Λοιπόν, καλημέρα σας. Είμαστε στην τρίτη ημέρα, ξεκινάει η τρίτη ημέρα του Συμποσίου, του 10ου Συμποσίου της Ελληνικής Εταιρείας για την Ενεργειακή Οικονομία, με ένα εξαιρετικά ενδιαφέρον πάνελ, το οποίο αφορά την απανθρακοποίηση των ελληνικών νησιών και πώς μπορεί αυτό να ξεκινήσει, να προχωρήσει, τέλος πάντων. Έχουμε την τιμή να έχουμε τον κύριο Γιώργο Φιντικάκη, ο οποίος θα συντονίσει το πάνελ, οπότε τον καλώ να ξεκινήσει και να καλέσει τους συμμετέχοντες. Γιώργο.
Good morning, everyone. I'm George Findikakis, and our next panel is on decarbonizing the Greek islands. We may have some flagship projects. Chios could be one, the fifth largest Greek island, which is which could be a Mediterranean front runner, as well others. At the same time, there are many challenges in integrating renewables, connecting with the mainland grid, deploying new expensive technologies such as batteries, grappling with the growing water crisis in the Aegean. So I welcome our distinguished guests, with whom we will explore all these topics and take a deep dive in all of this. Mr. Aristotelis Aivaliotis, Secretary General of Energy and Mineral Resources at the Ministry of Environment and Energy. Mr. Gianni Chianetta, Founder and Chairman at Greening the Islands Foundation. Mr. Ioannis Kaltsas, Head of Investment Team for Greece and Cyprus at the European Investment Bank, as well as Mr. Georgios Vokas, Professor at the University of West Attica. Mr. Aivaliotis, the floor is yours.
So, good morning. Thank you for inviting me to address the subject, which is a very interesting subject, is the decarbonization of the Greek islands, which evidently it's very important as Greece has so many islands. It's an island country, and we cannot achieve the net zero goals unless we address the needs of the islands. At this moment, we have a lot of independent systems. Each island has its own thermal unit, which gives current, and we have all kinds of emissions from fossil fuels. We have now a very ambitious program. It's the decarbonization of the island fund, which is a unique fund with the kind help of the European Commission and the European Investment Bank. And they will give us a lot of money until up to 2030 in order to achieve the decarbonization of the islands. This fund has been constructed as a single project, and we are about to give the final thesis, the investments related, until 30 of June. It's a very demanding task because being a single project, we have to be sure that all the projects, the independent projects related, are in a good position to be finalized in the coming 5 or 6 years. Around 40% of this fund will go for the interconnections of the island, especially for Dodekanis. At this moment, only Crete has achieved the interconnections with the mainland system. Actually, yesterday I was in Heraklion in a special event organized by the IPTO for the beginning of operation of Ariadne. Ariadne is the big underneath the sea cable which connects Crete with the mainland. Apart from this, in some Cycladic islands, we have interconnections from DDE, and we are in a good position to take to make this investment of the decarbonization of the islands fund possible. As I said, 40% around will be for interconnecting the Dodekanis islands with the main system. And then it's splitted, and we have around 227 million will go to energy autonomy at the end, at the sea end use level. Around 210 million will go to hybrid renewable systems for non-interconnected islands. Around 105 million will go for interconnecting smaller islands to the main cable. We have separated 260 million in order to give some subsidies for the offshore wind development. It's the first phase. And also some 36 million for standalone batteries. And small hydropower, you know, the islands, apart from decarbonizing, they have a huge problem with water. Water is very important as the tourist consumption every summer explodes, and we have to take care to address this very important need. So we have designed some small hydropower multi-purpose dams. Around 100 million will go there in order to have at the same time clean energy and water. So this is the one pillar which goes to decarbonizing. The other is the interconnection with the Dodekanis and the smaller islands. And there is a third pillar, which are technologies to support renewable absorption, which is 9% of the total fund allocation. This is specifically for cold ironing, that is giving electricity to the vessels arriving to the ports, and some chargers which at this moment are not non-existing in some islands. We will give 100 million for the cold ironing and 31 million for the charging infrastructure. So we will not have a net zero for the island by the end of this fund, but the broader impacts will be significant CO2 emission reduction, major reduction of public service obligation cost for the all the ICO, social service fees. So will be unbundling of the renewable special account. The ALAPE will be lower. Increased energy security, particularly for islands highly exposed to tourism. Technological innovation in floating offshore wind and grid-scale storing. Thousands of new skilled jobs, and transforming Greek islands into a global showcase of energy transition for small isolated systems. Apart from this big fund, there is a smaller fund, around 180 million euros, which goes to the small islands. We have this, designated 39 islands which have a population from 100 people to 3,000. And we will make some special projects there, which will be related to the garbage collection, to the small waste management, water again, and some renewables in order to support the electricity needs. I have to emphasize what is the main obstacle to decarbonizing the non-interconnected islands. The main obstacle is that we are speaking for systems which at the winter time they have, let's say, 6 megawatt consumption, and at the summer goes to 100. So it's a very erratic system, and in order to service it in an economical way, you are constrained from the economical needs to have the base load present. That is, you have to rely basically in the thermal units by 60%, and you can have maximum 40% renewables in that secluded system. So this constraint is hinting the effort to build more renewables in non-interconnected islands. In order to make them green, and totally green, you have to interconnect them to the main system. That is the main problem we have, and with the help of the Decarbonization Fund and the Greco Islands, as it is called for the small islands, we will ameliorate the situation, but we will not solve it 100%.
Is it because of that? I mean, the fact that interconnections are the key issue in order to decarbonize an island. Is it because of that you think to give more money, more funding to interconnections?
We will do that. The Decarbonization Fund gives us a very substantial sum. It's about 700 million to decarbonize, to interconnect the Tokyo. Apart from that, we have the North Aegean Islands, which requires almost the same amount as a subsidy. And we try to find this amount from ESPA, from the Cohesion Fund. We're in negotiations with the ministry which operates the Cohesion Fund, and we will have more money next year with the Climate Fund. I hope we can also dedicate some money from there, and of course we can make the interconnections possible through the investment from IPTO. IPTO can go to the banks and takes money, and then it can, with the WACC system, charge the consumers.
The independent Greek transmission
I think to decarbonize the islands, it's a top priority to make all the interconnections which can be done.
Okay. Mr. Chianetta, you have a great experience on decarbonizing on the matter. Could you give us some examples of your work in the Mediterranean as well as worldwide, and as well in which sectors do we need to accelerate? I mean, framework, in terms of upgrading infrastructure, please.
Yes. I have a few slides. But,
yeah, sure.
Can I
Yeah, of course.
from there, or? Okay. I don't know if my presentation can be shown. Okay, thank you very much. First of all, thank you very much for the organizers for inviting me. It's not the first time, but I've been maybe 2 or 3 times online, and the first time I'm physically present, so I'm so happy to be here in person because it's much different, of course, it's nice. On the point of you discussed, indeed, I'd like to introduce our initiative, which is the 100% Renewables Island Initiative. It's a global initiative that has been launched at the Climate Week in New York, and as a support of United Nations, the SEED Division, and the Global Renewable Alliance join all the individual global industry associations from solar, wind, hydropower, geothermal, hydrogen, long duration storage, and etc. Plus the UFM, Blue Planet Alliance, VSW, and many other organizations. Our goal is that we are discussing about that the world should go 100% renewable by 2050. And the concept is the islands can be a perfect laboratory. I totally agree with the Secretary General anyway, that is challenge, of course, especially in islands where there is seasonality, where there is, of course, a fluctuation, etc. But we want to challenge these also issues. And first of all, our goal is to electrify an island, go electric with anyway, induction for cooking, electromobility, cold ironing, etc. Indeed, if you consider water desalination, etc., if you electrify the full islands, indeed, there is a critical mass that anyway can help this goal. We started with with some islands, Curaçao in the Caribbean, Rodriguez and of the Mauritius, La Digue and the Seychelles, Tonga in the Pacific, and recently we signed the agreement with Chios in Greece, the first Mediterranean European islands joining our program. We have a methodology that is very important in a phase one. Build 2-3 possible scenarios, how to go 100% renewables, and making a sort of roadmap in 10-15 years, and then engaging in a workshop the government, the utility, the civil society, the Chamber of Commerce of the island, etc., to decide which scenario makes sense. And then we decide together where to place the projects and how to match the project with funds. We did this in Curaçao, and we built a roadmap. It's an island of 150,000 people with almost 1 terawatt annual electricity consumption. Curaçao is a Dutch island in the Caribbean, hosting the biggest, used to host the biggest oil refinery of all Latin America. It's one of the 10 biggest refineries in the world. We are talking about practically more than 400 hectares. You see how many barrels and etc. were produced, etc. It's been closed in 2019, let's say, due to the relationship between Venezuela and Europe. And they want to reconvert this exhibition. What you see here is we did bring the roadmap of Curaçao that you see there. You have seen the plan to 2030, 2035, and to 2035, 2040, where actually we have the first analysis build the composition of renewables and mix and batteries to reach that goal. And we did bring this scenario together with the utility, the government, in the Smarter Europe. Probably many of you knows is Intersolar plus ES, the biggest exhibition in Europe on solar and storage. And there were 2 teams of research institute, university, competing on collecting the technology from 3,000 companies and proposing solution really, especially on the point of the storage, on the point that the Secretary General was discussing anyway, how really we can accumulate and maximize really the efficiency of the production of the renewables. Indeed, it is a challenge, but we want to face the challenge with the best organization in the world, anyway, that are on this track, like the Global Industry Association, etc. Of course, there is a big impact. For investors, people think, anyway, there are talk about peanuts, but in Curaçao, this plan involves an investment of 300 million euro with an impact of, for the maintenance, not construction, of about 200 and employees, with an impact you see in terms of reduction CO2. This is Chios, you know better than me. Chios, anyway, is the island. There's 50,000 people with 17% of renewables, 800 square kilometers. And you see that there is already, of course, some solar and wind, but still majority is with diesel. We have in this case specific with Chios cooperating with Daphne to really do what we have done in Curaçao and what we have done in the other islands. So we are about to start, and it's good anyway, of course, that I had the pleasure also now to meet the Secretary General, because the involvement of the government is very important. I see here there are also other representatives from the government. And so we we have a magazine, I hope you will follow us anyway, where we have our cartoons. And we really want to bring this challenge with the Islands Laboratory. Already we are participating to all the COP. Now next week I will be the Ocean Conference with United Nations, with 4 energy ministers from Seychelles, St. Kitts and Nevis, Curaçao and Tonga, really talking about offshore renewables, which is part of the solution. And we will discuss indeed about how to really disconnect the diesel genset. And the other cartoon representing something that I see the government is targeting, which is the bridge finance. Because there are a lot of money available when the island has a clear strategy, no? And, but we need to build this strategy, we need to make this planning, we need to, of course, where it's possible, interconnect, anyway, why not? And empower the island government really to decide about their strategy. And we need early stage finance, which is the meaning of that cartoon we did bring at COP29 in Baku, where I see the government is addressing. But happy to have questions later on. Thank you.
So, which would you say are the main challenges we need to overcome in order to decarbonize islands? And in terms of funding, which are the challenges that face the ongoing funding programs and should implement successfully the right solutions, sir?
Thank you very much. My name is Yannis Kaltsas. I'm heading the EIB operations for Greece and Cyprus. For those of you who do not know the European Investment Bank, it's the financial arm of the European Union. We're the sister institution of the European Commission, and we have a very active role, both helping governments absorbing available grants, but also provide very cheap, very competitive financing for selected projects, like it is, for example, the decarbonization of islands. Before answering on the financial challenges, I want to make sure we were present in Greece since 1963. This year we're going to do above 3 billion euros of financing. But I have to say that looking through the history of our involvement in Greece, never ever before we had such a big opportunity in terms of free money and cheap money flowing to the country. I was comparing a little bit to the beginning of the 80s when Greece entered the European Union, but I think the amount of money is much bigger at this stage, and I think this will be the last wave. To explain myself, okay? There is the EU structural funds, about 26 million. There is the RRF, 36 billion, sorry, 26 billion. RRF, 36 billion. decarbonization fund dedicated for the Aegean, for the Greek islands, not Aegean, for the Greek islands, with the current carbon prices, a little bit above 1.8 billion. Modernization fund, which is coming, a little bit above 1.5 billion. Just transition mechanism money, about 1.6 billion. And there, if you add also grants that they come from the Innovation Fund, grants that they come from CEF and the other mechanisms, the total amount we calculate is above 70 billion euros in the period between 21 and 28, essentially, that Greece could use. So there's a lot of money out there. The question is, maybe to explain a little bit the role of the EIB. The role of the EIB is to help governments and the European Commission often absorb the free money. For example, for the decarbonization fund, the team of Mr. Availiotis, who is working very hard, you can imagine how much work the ministries have all these days to try to make sure the good use of this money during this period. So the team of Mr. Availiotis will submit to the EIB by 30 of June the final proposals. The EIB will evaluate these proposals over the next few months, and then the deployment of these 1.8 billion euros will start. In parallel, the EIB is working with key promoters, private and public sector, to be able to co-finance these projects. For example, IPTO, ADMIE, has submitted to us for the interconnection of the Dodecanese and for the Northern Aegean a request to provide to them loans of about 2.7 billion euros to co-finance with the grants. It's not unusual. We've co-financed the interconnections with Crete, both the small and the big cable of Ariadne. We co-financed the interconnections with the Cyclades, but we co-financing generally all the big interconnections across Europe, including those that they connect Europe to North Africa, for example, Spain, Italy, France, Germany to UK, and many, many other projects. So this is part of our role. And also what we have is a lot of technical assistance, free money, which we help the promoters with free advice about how to make good use of money. And we plan some of this money to use during the implementation phase to make sure that the money are spent fast and in a correct way. Now the question is, what are the biggest challenges? How Greece, how the Greek islands can take advantage of this huge opportunity? I hate to say, but money is not a constraint. The biggest constraint where we see is lack very often of competent promoters to have the capacity to absorb and to do these projects. And I will give you a simple example. Assume there is no grant. The EIB can provide to water authorities currently loans of 20 to 25 years with grace period of 4 to 5 years. They do not pay anything during the implementation for 4 or 5 years, with fixed interest rate below 3%. Okay? Imagine this, that the water authorities put hybrid systems with no grants. Okay? They will be able, according to our calculations, to repay back these loans in about 10 to 15 years, depending on the case, which means there will be another 10, 15 years that they will make free money. This without grants. Why we are not doing this? Because very often there's not a capacity, there's not a strong promoter who can implement this. Therefore, we feel that what we have to work, and I think Mr. Evaliotis' team is doing a very good work, is to make sure that once the money are approved, once we have all the approvals, we work together to accelerate the implementation and this money to find the correct use. Is interconnections the only thing? No, it's not the only thing. Interconnections do not make sense in all islands, okay? We have battery technologies that for some remote islands, they make much more sense than to have interconnections for every single Greek island. I want to finish with a small remark about another dimension, which is another opportunity for the Greek islands, and this is the defense dimension. Okay, energy independence for for the Greek islands, for the European islands, has a particular importance in terms of the capacity of Greece and of Europe to defend itself. It's a lot of money coming for defense. Energy independence for these islands, it is an opportunity. So I hope, and we want to help also Greece to take advantage yet of another opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kaltsas. Mr. Vokas, how can universities support? How can a university support the energy transition in the islands? All these ambitious projects, all this procedure dedicated to decarbonize. Of course.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being here to this wonderful event. I'm Georgios Vokas, a professor in the University of West Attica, electrical engineer, in the electrical engineering department of this university. And thank you very much for the question, Mr. Fidikakis. I think that my place on the panel, exactly on the last seat, was actually the right one. Why? Because, firstly, we need to hear from the government the political will, that there is such a huge plan, which is the National Energy and Climate Plan, that is running for Greece for the last years, and every 3 years is being renewed. So I think that you are all aware of it. If you are not from Greece, you are foreigners, then this is a small brief for this program. Mr. Evaliotis exactly mentioned all the data about the funding of this in order to support all the actions of this National Energy and Climate Plan, which is now under process. There are a lot of obstacles for this, but still there is the will, and of course, as we heard before a while also from Mr. Kaltsas, there is also the money. I'm very glad to hear that the money is not a constraint. This is not an issue still. But okay, so why are we not running towards all different directions to make the decarbonization of islands feasible and a reality? There are many constraints, but I would say that there are also technical ones. So this is my turn to say that the challenges from our side are mostly technical. It's not very right to say that technically wise everything is solved. I would say no. Why? Because even though the technology exists, even though the equipment is still, getting better and better, we can see that, and it's obvious, that every single case, every island, every interconnection line has its own characteristics, its own technical requirements, its own need for the right, the specific, the adequate technical solution. You can see here the interconnection, some figures of the interconnection lines that are already running as projects or are going to run in the next years, and hopefully the goal is the interconnection of almost all autonomous electrical systems by the year of, in this decade, by the year 2029 or 2030. As Mr. Evaliotis already said, he was very happy to announce the operation of the second line from Crete. I think it was in last week. The first 50 megawatt are already in the system. So very huge interconnection line already installed. In the other figures, you can see the interconnection lines, which are mostly AC, and the only interconnection line that is DC is the one from Kos Island to Athens. So why to choose DC or AC? Are there any technical constraints? Which are the technical details for this? Do we have to make a high voltage DC converters in order to make this happen in a DC line? Which other kind of installment equipment must be used during the lines, the AC lines, in order to maintain the power factor close to 1? Because we have reactive power. So maybe some of these issues that they hear a little bit strange for you, but still there can be a problem. So we cannot afford losing any single euro from this chance in order to make this happen with the right way. So technical challenges still exist. The power electronics that are involved are of high quality and of high precision, have to be very well designed and installed in order to have the connection lines really working and with no problem in the future. Of course, for cases that we can see that there are no connection lines, interconnection lines available or possible to connect some islands that are remoted or are not expected to be connected, then in that case we have the possibility to make some specific solutions for these islands, hybrid solutions using renewable energy sources and storage. So you can see that, of course, the aims of the Greco Islands actions are, you can see them here in front of you, but some small details about the 4 cases that we are already running, the government is already running with subsidies, is Astipali Island, St. Eustrathios Islands, Tilos and Halki. You can see that, for example, in Astipalia, in phase A, we are going to cover through the renewable energy sources, which are a photovoltaic system of 3.5 megawatt peak and a storage of 9.1 megawatt hours. We're going to cover 61% of the need of the island, while in the phase B, after the extension of the hybrid system, we're going to cover more than 80%. So it is possible, it is feasible, it is it is possible to make such a hybrid system, but with the right technical solution, and to achieve a penetration, renewable energy sources penetration more than 80%. This is the goal, this is the target, to increase the renewable energy sources penetration in all the islands, either interconnected or non-interconnected. St. Eustrathios is already more than, is covering the system, the renewable energy sources system is covering more than 85% of the demand of the island, and so on. Also to mention Halki Island, which is something really important. The case there is something different. The people that are running an energy community, and another system that are going to cover their bills and maybe to minimize or to make their bills zero with net metering. Many research projects, our university, yes, and many other universities are being involved in research activities. You can see numerous of projects that are running or that have already finished, and they are giving their pilot project results to the technical community and, of course, the hands of the banks and the government. Why the banks? Because the banks must have an idea of the technical excellency of the investments that are going to be proposed to them in order to get to be financed. So let me say that we were and we are still consultant of some banks to some investment projects in that area. And finally, yes, just to put a small example about what could we offer as a university. We have recently, the next 4 years, we have developed the design of the first hybrid diesel-electric ferry in Greece. This happened in 2020, it started. We have signed an MOU between our university, the municipality of Aegialia and Dorida. In the middle, they're not islands, but they're connecting Peloponnese with Greece, the rest of Greece. and central Greece, and in the middle there is a small island of Trizonia. So you can see that we are using here a vessel that it is already found, and we are not going to have such kind of pollution as usually have in this kind of cases with conventional ships.
Okay.
Yes.
We will have the chance
Yes,
to talk about on the vessel. Thank you so much. Sir, Mr. Aivaliotis, so there's the will as well as the money. Which could be the front-runner islands, green islands in Greece? Could that be Crete? And could some of the Cyclades follow? I mean, I understand that the key issue is the interconnections, right? So you emphasize there. Is that right?
It is right. We have a 100% green island at this moment. It's Chalki, but Chalki is connected to the Rhodes Island, so takes advantage of this. I cannot say at this moment a particular island because I can emphasize one major constraint. Don't forget, money is there. As Mr. Kaltsas summit, it's 70 billion. We can use it. The main problem, I can say, we have three problems for the island. The one is, don't forget we are speaking for private investments and municipality investments. For private investments, we have to address the need of these people to earn money. So the CBA, in some cases, must be positive in order to achieve these goals. For municipalities, we have, at this moment, 350 municipalities in Greece. Do you know how many they have this administrative capacity? We have defined what is administrative capacity, and we ask all these municipalities to address this issue in order to take subsidies or to take money from European sources. 20. None of this is island. So the administrative capacities of the islands is very low, and it's very difficult to address it in the 5 coming years. So it's an almost impossible task to think of as a municipality of an island to take all this money and make something. We have to find investors. In order to find investors, we have to address their main goal to have profit. So in order to have profit, either we have to find a way through subsidies, either from consumers or from the taxpayer, and IPTO, for instance, we have such a mechanism. To the other investors, we have to address the main, for Chios, for instance. Mm-hmm. I am very attached to Chios. I go almost every year there, and I have personal connections. Chios is about to be connected in the next 5 years, it's for sure. We will find the money to interconnect the North Aegean is a national security issue. So if I am an investor and see that we have to install huge battery and renewable system in order to make Chios now 100% green, I have to address my anxiety that when the interconnection comes, I cannot gain my money back. So I have to wait and see Chios be interconnected in order to install something which makes sense.
Okay.
The third challenge we have is the people of the islands. The people of the islands are very against the wind farms. We don't have any island saying that, okay, we want to have a wind farm in our island. So if we're talking only for solar panels, they operate when there is sun. If we have to install a huge battery to take this, it's almost an impossible task. We would have a huge solar panel in order to have a decent battery, and then we have the seasonality. I don't think the CBA will be positive. These are the challenges. Administrative capacity, the islanders, who don't want wind farms, and we have to
Speaking
find a
of
way
that,
to
of
pursue.
wind farms, I believe that the fund that you also mentioned the offshore wind development, right?
This offshore, we are very lucky. They are designed to be east of Crete, and in a place where there is no tourist operations or a lot of people grudging. But we have problems also there.
Yeah, however, the national plan remains at a standstill. We will see any further actions on the matter.
We are obliged to finalize it until 30th of June. It's a milestone of the RRF.
Okay, I see. Sir, Mr. Chianetta, you have a great experience on all these matters. Which would say are the main hurdles? Is the administration capacity of the islands, as Mr. Aivaliotis mentioned, the lack of competent promoters, as Mr. Kaltsas said? Please.
Yes. First of all, I'd like to clarify one point. In fact, in my chart, maybe I didn't mention, but we are foreseen also for Chalky that Chalky will be interconnected by 2030. So when we talk about 100% renewables, it doesn't mean that the island need to be isolated, but we can reduce the cost of battery. It's connected, and there is also exactly. So we take into account these components that can reduce the cost of the battery. So, but the point is maximize the self-consumption is key. We have seen, I was in Portugal when there was the blackout, and everybody now in Spain, in Portugal, is talking about the island model. No? Maximize the self-consumption locally to reduce the risk of vulnerability, etc. So in parallel with the connection anyways. So this is our goal. Maximize the possibility of, so the challenge, going to your point, is indeed, first of all, to have an holistic approach, because when you do an investment, instead of doing randomly one investment or another, first of all, in our approach, you need to foresee what will be the demand in 10, 15 years, and according to project already planned, ongoing, etc., talking with the islands, and to find the nexus, and indeed to have engaged the community, as the Secretary General said. In our methodology, in this workshop we made in Curaçao, in a 3-day workshop, there were 40 people representing all the community discussing these are the way to go towards 100% renewables, where these are the area that can be utilized in the sea, not in the sea. And indeed, the administration need to be involved, but also the local industry, because this means local jobs, which is very important. So this is the key, engaging also the local industry and make sure that not only multinational companies come to Greece to make business investment, but the local companies are fully engaged and they have a benefit and profit of it.
Thank you. Mr. Kaltsas, batteries or interconnections in the Aegean? What do you suggest?
Both, clearly both. And I will try to be a little bit positive, because maybe I was too negative the previous time, talking only about the constraints. I think there are many positive signs currently, and there's big opportunity, and things will happen, I have no doubt. What are these positive signs? As I said, money is there, a lot of money. Second, there is a huge private sector interest. When in the European Investment Bank 5 years ago we got this big mission of energy transition of Europe, and we had to do some hundreds of billions, so 1 trillion euros in a decade or something of leveraging investment, we thought, oh, come on, there's not this investment. It's politicians that they put to us you know, the civil servants as way of the international organization, some targets that they are unachievable. Now we have in the European Investment Bank such a huge pipeline of energy that they tell us, okay, we cannot do only energy, we have to do also other sectors, housing, defense, etc. Our pipeline for energy projects is unbelievable. For the Greek islands, all the big companies are our clients. They come and they propose, they say, look, for hybrid system, it makes economic sense. They show us the numbers. Then, and I think there Mr. Evaliotis will understand me very well what I say, we see some red tape being removed from us, from the European institutions. So DG Competition, for example, to give us one clearance some 2 years ago, was taking us 8 months, 9 months. Now in projects we're involved, at least with the EIB, clearance from DG Competition, because it's necessary when there's grant to be also, is coming very, very swiftly. Okay, there's a change of geopolitical situation. Europe realizes it has to be more realistic and more... so there are many positive signs out there, and I'm optimistic that both interconnections, I don't think 2029 will happen, all the interconnections. I think it will take some more years. My guess, if I have to make a guess, is by 2035 we're going to have these interconnections. But also batteries, the technology is improving fast. Also the quest there is how to have not only the European islands interconnecting and having batteries, but also how can we manufacture some of these things within Europe, how we can have cables in Europe and how we can have batteries in Europe. And there are in Greece also companies, manufacturers, that they take the initiative and they do the investment towards this respect, and this is also our priority. Let's not forget to create jobs with this green transition.
Yeah, sure. Mr. Vokas, are you optimistic too? Which is your final remark?
I'm very optimistic. I agree with Mr. Kaltsas. This is the target of ADMIE for interconnection 2030, but it is optimistic. But okay, it's going to happen maximum until 2033, from my point of view. I think that both interconnection and hybrid systems are the future, and this is where we have to concentrate and focus technically and financially. And I would like also to point out that new technologies must be, and new trends must be also involved in any case, in every case that we are going to study. For example, we can start thinking of the use of second life batteries. If you are going for storage, why are you going to buy new ones? You can start thinking of second life batteries, and this is a project that we are running right now, a Horizon project with a Public Power Corporation and another 9 partners in Europe. Also inductive charging, not heating, inductive charging of, with a distance of different electric vehicles or vessels. So I think that yes, I'm optimistic since the technology is here to help us to achieve all these targets that the government and, of course, the investors and the banks would like also to go towards this direction.
Okay. Our time is up. I hope you found the discussion interesting about this huge, enormous issue. I would like to thank you all for your participation. Once again, thank you so much.
My friend.
With him in the Ocean Conference. And we have been in Peloponnesus together. We have been part of Monaco at the conference event that was in Atlantic. And we have been discussing about
Ladies and gentlemen, can you hear us? Please, we are getting ready for the next session. So please take your seats so that we can start in a couple of minutes. Thank you. Sorry?
Sorry, microphone.
Okay. Please, ladies and gentlemen, take your seats. We will start immediately. Please. I will start by inviting the speakers on the podium. Mr. Dan Stratan, please choose any seat that you like. Just leave this for me. Yes. Elena Popescu, CEO Electra Renewable Support, please. Sebastian Favieli, Managing Partner Nofar Energy, please join us on the stage. And Mr. Paul Moldovan, Founder Parapet, also you are expecting on the podium. I will say a few words before starting the conversation and until the speakers will join us here. My name is Gabriela Văcărițe, I'm Chief Editor with Energenomics, and I will be the moderator for the next 40-50 minutes. I will start by saying thank you to the organizer for having here us today as a content partner. and also for giving us the opportunity to have a couple of minutes with you in discussing some topics of interest in the relationship between Greece and Romania. Please, Paul. Fabi, please join us here on the stage. Strangely enough, I think that the first session of the day was a very good introduction for our own conversation to follow, because this very interesting and thorough discussion on islands and Greek islands, decarbonizing and electrifying islands, is, I think, a very good starting point for our discussion too on the continental part of Europe. So from this southern focused conversation, we move to the northern part. We move from islands at the sea and the continental level, but the problems and the topics remain the same. And I think that many of the lessons that we will gain in these efforts in decarbonizing islands will be used, and are already used, in discussion about energy islands within existing networks. This idea of microgrids, for example, or this idea of community of energy, of this idea of active user of the grid, which has not yet touched in the previous conversation. All of these are of the most important, very, very important at the moment. So I hope we will touch some of those issues in what's next. But the main idea of our session and the next one is to put in front of the local community of energy active experts some Romanian expertise, some companies, some people that know about the Romanian sector and are already prepared to share with you some of their expertise. In the situation that you are interested to come and make business in Romania, or in the situation that you might need some experts to help you here in Greece. So let us start. Ladies, gentlemen, as we discussed, each of you will have an initial intervention of about 5 minutes in order to make yourself known for the audience here, and then we will have probably 20 minutes for discussion. So I will start with Mr. Dan Stratan, a well-known figure and very influential in Romania as a founder and the brain and the heart behind RCI Holding. Here with us today in the capacity of owner of Ciga Energy Hellas, so already a Romanian company present here in Greece, which is kind of a rare thing, I'd say, because there are many investors from Greece present in Romania, but not that many similar operation from Romania to Greece. So tell us a few words about your company, your interest, and why you're here. What are the most important things that you can put on the table for these people here? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will put a little bit of a personal touch because the question was quite personal in a way. We have been following Greece for many, many years. I used to work for the largest investment bank in the world at that time, and I was responsible for corporate Greece back in the 90s, to be precise, between 95 and 99. And I had the opportunity to understand as much as possible the private sector of Greece, because I was responsible for the private sector of Greece. We were following Greece not only for Greek operations, but also for the Greek companies' operations abroad. So we have followed with supplying capital to the Greek conglomerates. We have continued to work mostly in our region being Central Eastern Europe, supporting Greek entrepreneurs and the EPC contractors into infrastructure works, especially after the Olympics of 2004. But recently, something has dramatically changed, and this wind of change has come not only from Europe, for the directives which are linked to safety of supply in energy, but also the fact that the Greek economy had a significant revival. 3 years ago, we decided to invest in Greece. We have a company here, which is called Chiga Energy Hellas. And this company is acting on the Greek market, but also as a bridge between Greek investment objectives and our knowledge of especially the Balkans, Western Balkans included, but Bulgaria, Romania, and many other countries across Central Europe as well. This new approach has allowed us not only to bring Greek competencies and capital to Romania and other places, as I mentioned, but also to be a small player, but nevertheless a player in the Greek economy. We are taking pride of the fact that we have significantly helped, of course, by our presence here. We have been involved in the sale of 49% of the DE shares to Macquarie, acting sell-side advisor. We have been involved in a very important project, which was for us, and I think really a remarkable project, which has been the technology master plan for the Ellinikon. We have been the ones who have drafted the HEDNO, the digital transformation roadmap, and we have been involved heavily with OTE and Titan and other companies in their regional strategy, which was designed in the last couple of years. What is remarkable is that we have also advised Greek companies for M&A opportunities, both sell-side as well as buy-side. And here I want to mention the acquisition of Enel by PPC, where we were buy-side advisors. I want to mention the divesting of OTE, of Telecom Communication Romania Mobile, a very important transaction to OTE and to Deutsche Telekom Group. And we have also been involved in about 5 giga of renewables and batteries transactions, out of which 2.5 have been completed, and this is only in the last 6 months. I'm talking about Greek investors or Greek developers. So as you see, there is a very significant amount of interest, and as you mentioned, I'm really sorry that we are probably, if not the only, among the very few Romanian companies which have invested in your country, and we are very grateful for the way that we have been received, encouraged. We have been appreciated for our knowledge and know-how, and we are really, I'm not sure if we are missing any of the big players in the energy field. We are working with all of them, either in Greece, either we are talking about sustainability projects like the one we are doing for PPC Group here in Greece, or avoided emissions, what we are doing for the Blue. So things which are really showing that competence, talent, knowledge is something that could be easily shared between our countries.
Thank you, Mr. Tantan, for this presentation. So there are so many areas that you might find interesting and potential opportunities in working with Chiga Energy Hellas. I will now move to Mr. Stelian Faveli, Managing Partner of Our Energy, representing an organization which is already being present in Romania and in many other parts of Europe as an important developer of RES projects, and also as a venue to transfer investments and money from investors to local markets. Please tell us a few words about why you think that Greece is an important place for you, building up on the experience that you already have in Romania.
So, first, thank you for the invitation. So a little bit about Nofar, so we will make the connection. So Nofar is a listed company in Israel. We are working in the last 15 years. We are working mainly in Israel, of course, and in Europe, also in the US. In the last 5 years, mainly we opened in Spain, which we have more than 400 megawatts. We are in Italy, in Poland, in Serbia, and our last investments were in Germany and the UK. We are the biggest developer of storage in the UK, and of course in Romania, which we are already building and the connected part of it of almost 1 giga of PV utility scales. We are also present here in Greece, and this is mostly we are focusing on the storage, which we believe is needed. So if we are looking on all Europe, I will try, from our point of view as the developers, if in the last 3-4 years, mainly all the developers invested in the PV, wind, utility. I believe that from this year, everybody is focusing on the storage. We started a little bit earlier. But as we probably will also speak later, it's related to the grid capacities and to the investment in the renewable energy, which are pretty much starting to evolve and to be connected. And I believe that we will refer to this later. So
for sure, because this is a common theme of interest in Greece, in Romania, in Greece. Everybody talks about curtailments and storage being the obvious technical solution to this. It is not very clear yet here, but also in Romania, if we have the appropriate markets for making this investment in storage feasible from a financial perspective. Please, Elena Popescu, CEO of Electra Renewable Support, tell us a few words about your company and where you are today. Why would it be your contribution here in Greece? Because in Romania I already know something, but tell us a few words about Electra.
Hi, thank you for the invitation. I will start with a connection that we have with Greece, how we actually started the collaboration and partnership with Greek companies. It all started a few years ago when 10th HAEE gave us the opportunity to be their technical advisors in Romania for projects that were analyzed for Greek investors to be bought. This is how actually was opened the path for us for having Greek companies as clients for our services. And I will also tell shortly about our services in Romania and which can also be expanded internationally, like it was in the past for us. So I was saying that we started being as a partner with Greek companies for dispatching, operation, maintenance, because this is our specialty. We do this 15 plus years now in Romania. We also did it in the past, the dispatching part, which leads us to the perfect conclusion that we have no boundaries if we have communication active. And I can say that this partnership or this collaboration with a big Greek client of ours was we had only pluses because we realized how much we needed actually the experience very good consolidated during the years for Greek companies in renewables. and we made actually an upgrade of our services in Romania due to this partnership that we have. And expanded our views and our strategies related to maintenance and the strengths and cons of doing several actions. So this is how we started actually. We are a small company in Romania. It's a Romanian company that has only passionate employees with personal solutions depending on the action that we have to have, or the theme that is given to us. But I can proudly say that my team works very much during the years, and we had an organic growth. I can give you some small figures, like we started with 8 megawatts in 2011, first wind farm that we took in our care. Then in 2023, I don't know, we were at 400 megawatts in dispatching, operation and maintenance, 24, 600, 25, 800, and I believe by next year we will go further beyond the 1 gigawatt of activities in a mixed portfolio of wind, solar, storage, gas, hybrid. When, like a general conclusion, we are that type of company that makes everything that has to be done for technical exploitation of power plants, from coupling point to the generation unit. It doesn't matter which part. We can discuss about a full service scope or a mixed scope, depends. I told you we are pretty flexible in giving customized solutions, which gives us the possibility of doing a lot of things. Mm-hmm. Also, what I want to underline, and I will finish this part, I was mentioning about the fact that we can go internationally, because we did it in the past. 24/7 dispatcher operative management is an activity that is linked with the heart of a project, because if you don't have production, you have actually nothing. You cannot sell, you cannot do anything, you cannot get the investment back. And I was listening to the previous panel, and it was very interesting that I'm wondering, for each island, somebody should take care of monitoring and control everything. I don't know exactly how it works, the grid operator and the transport operator, how they act in Greece, because I looked for information, even ChatGPT didn't give me enough information. Maybe this would be an opportunity to organize an workshop for us to understand how the grid works here, because in Romania is different than all other European countries. With the dispatching, for example, point of view, as far as I know, all grid operators in Europe are doing what we do as authorized dispatcher in Romania. So that would be interesting also.
Yes, great idea, and we should focus on that. Thank you, Elena. I will move now to Paul Moldovan. 3 companies until now which are already present in Greece. This is not the case for Parapet, although you are working already for many years in many places in Europe. Tell us a few words about Parapet and about your interest in Greece.
Hi, first of all, thank you for the invitation. I'm Paul Moldovan, for the ones which don't know me. I'm the founder of Parapet. Back in 2009, we started as a road safety company by working with a lot of Greek companies in the Romanian market, but we switched to energy and renewable energy by building solar parks by 2012. So 13 years of working in this business. I would say there are a few companies which have so much experience and working in a European level, because we have projects in more than 15 countries. I would say now if I'm looking back at the numbers, I would say we've built till 2024 1.5 giga, but we are seeing immense growth in our market, because today we are having projects which are more than 500 megawatt combined together. Definitely we diversified our business model by going also to wind, and from last year also to BESS, because we have to be sustainable, and definitely we cannot keep the net only with solar. At Parapet we have a regional approach by working, I would say, in any countries where the market has a demand.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the moment, and we are now in the conversation mood. So any of you, if you have any idea, any comment, just show your hands up, and we'll make sure that you will be heard here on the stage. I will now move to Mr. Stratan. I know that you have to leave rather soon. Please tell us a few words about the main opportunities you see at the moment in Romanian-Greek cooperation area, even if it is about companies in Romania working here or the other way around. Which should be the most important topics?
I think there is a great opportunity in having a regional strategy, and actually this is happening as we speak, but it's mostly about safety of supply, is mostly about bracing ourselves through Rearm Europe and some security issues. I think we are focusing very little on the human resources and talent that we can find in all our countries in the Balkans. And I think this is something that we heard in this panel a little bit, how we learned from the experienced Greek companies. We also have a remarkable, in Romania, in Bulgaria, in the region, we have a remarkable pool of talents, especially in the technology side. As we all see, technology is going to be not only the enabler, but I think also the driver of what we are going to see in the near future. So one thing that I would invite you to consider is how we could join forces in order to develop technologies, in order to have access to financing for startups of technology. In our plans, it is to create a venture capital fund for critical infrastructure technologies, because we believe that this will be a game changer for the future.
Thank you. In fact, your company seems to position itself as a solution to one of the common problems in Romania and Greece. We heard earlier, Mr. Kaltsas, I think, talked about 70 billions of euro available for Greece investment in renewables. I think the number is similar for Romania for the next decade. The problem is the poor capacity at administrative level to build up projects and conduct them. This is also the case in Romania. So this lack of structured knowledge, this is the point that you mentioned.
Yes, unfortunately, Romania has crossed a number of uncertainties, and the uncertainties are not over yet. As you probably know, Romania unfortunately has quite difficult to manage deficits, and here I'm talking about the main, let's say, budget deficit, which is north of 9%. Obviously, it is not sustainable, and there will be needed fiscal measures which will trigger adjustments, including in the GDP growth of Romania. But I'm sure that as we are crossing, I think we left behind the political uncertainties, and I think that Romania now is clearly stable, and in maximum 2 weeks we will have a stable government, most probably with a large majority in parliament. I think that all the difficult decisions will have to be taken. The absorption of EU funds, and we are the largest by far in Romania advisor on EU funding. We have brought only to the distribution companies from Resilience and Recovery Fund and from Modernization Fund, we have attracted more than 2 billion euros, 100% grants so far. And now we are also looking at other financing programs. We have also been very successful in attracting Innovation Fund and Connect Euro Facility funding for the energy sector. We believe that the absorption has to increase, especially in investments like CCGTs, which are seriously lagging behind. I'm talking about Turceni, Ișalnița, Iagnut. We are talking about capacities which were supposed to replace the fact that nuclear unit number 1 is going to be refurbished as of the end of 2026. Its 30 years life is over. We have developed nuclear competencies as well, and we are going to be part jointly with the Czech, from the Czech Republic partner. We are going to be part also at this development across the region but Romania definitely has to invest not only in batteries, which is now the, let's say, the El Dorado for investors, but definitely in gas capacities in order to be able to stabilize you have a great experience in this country in having invested already 20-something years ago in CCGTs in order to stabilize the grid, to do balancing, to do ancillary services. So all these things, I think your expertise would be more than welcome for units in Romania for the stabilization of the grid.
Thank you, Mr. Tanda, for this fair warning about the fiscal problems in Romania and the potential contagion from the public area to the economy in general. Hopefully this European money might help us to prevent it. Thank you very much for joining us. And
thank you all. And I have to catch a flight, and I'm already terrorized by the Athens traffic.
Good luck, good luck. Have a nice flight. I will move now to Stelian. Because Nofar Energy is one of the few companies who entered and invested money in Romania renewable sector in the second wave, so a couple of years ago, risking their own money mainly, so not waiting necessary for some contracts being signed with the public authorities in Romania through Modernization Fund, CFDs or other schemes. Tell us a few words about how was this strategy of yours? Was it a good one? Were the good money invested? Is it okay now, the situation, and what are the prospects for your projects in Romania?
Yes, so what I can say, since, as I mentioned, we invested in many countries in Europe, so I believe that if I can say that when we entered to Romania in 2021, Romania was, I will say it, underdeveloped if we compare it with other countries in the region. I can say that today, I cannot say underdeveloped, I can say maybe it's one leg behind, okay? So this is maybe the situation of Romania. So our strategy came from our experience mainly in Spain and in Poland, which are much more developed.
It is also the case with Greece. We see the rhythm of investment in renewables. It's
yes, in Greece and countries that
in Ukraine,
far,
I may say,
yes.
Ukraine, a country under war, and they are investing like hell in renewables.
Yes, so so when we got to the strategy to enter to Romania, I can say that in 2021, we stayed in an hotel, all the managers, and we said, okay, let's open let's see what is going on, and let's make like a target 200 megawatts. This is, I can tell you, this was the approach, okay? So we started to see how we are going to do it. So we said, okay, let's start to develop a project, let's see how we are doing it, and so on. But then I realized in the beginning of 2022, before the war started, that the grid capacity is very limited, let's say it like this. So if I will wait now 2 years and start to develop, and we know what happened, so it was a very, cannot say guess, but we need to make it faster. So what we did, we made co-development with other developers that were already in the market. I remind you that at least in Romania and also in other countries in 2022, when you went to any coffee shop, you heard about renewable energy. I have a project, I have something, and so on. Everybody spoke about 10 gigas, 12 gigas of array, and so on and so on and so on. But it's clear that it cannot happen, okay? Because there is not such enough money and workforce, I will say it, to make 10 giga, okay? So it's nice in the paper, but not in reality. So we changed our strategy, and we decided that we want to go to 1 giga. This is what since we are learning from the other countries that we invest, we said let's take it as a big country that in Europe that we can do it. So as you know, we started with Ratest, 155 megawatts that we connected in 2023, and this. And in meanwhile, we also started to build another 650 megawatts that will be 400 from them will be connected at the end of this year and in first quarter of 2026, and another 265 will be connected in beginning of 2027. And of course, since we have already the experience, everybody is suffering or looking on the negative prices. And since we have this experience...
How do the financials look at the moment and for the near future in terms of revenues because of this increasingly more and more hours of negative prices?
Of course, they are lower than our expectation. This is for sure. From the other part, I can say that we have luck that we have more sun than we expected.
Okay.
So somewhere in the middle. The other, let's say, the positive, that really there are few companies that really build all what was expected. By the way, mainly from Greece. I can say at least 2 names that everybody knows, PPC and Mytilineos, which are very active in Romania. But of course, we are not speaking on 10 giga. We are speaking in the next 2-3 years, maybe 3-4 giga. So
we should move a little bit to the operation side and connect these operation challenges that Elena and her team oversize, their impact on the financial part. So many people talking about batteries, hybridization of existing park, of ready-to-build ones. How should the companies, the developers, tackle this issue in bettering their financial based on storage or not, or other forms of operational approaches? What would be your advice?
Anyway, in the past, I believe in the present, all projects are a mixed one. So everybody is attaching storage because of the negative prices and because of reducing the imbalances and have available power when you have the right price. This is the future because this is the constraint It's related to adapting on the current market conditions. What I can say, what I've seen, and what we've seen during these 15 plus years is that you cannot think on a really long term the strategy. During, I don't know, the 10 years of no investments in Romania, a lot of changes happened. We had really big energy prices versus really small ones. So in this moment, the answer to your question is yes. The best thing is to have hybrid. The best thing is to have a mixed portfolio as an investor, PV, storage, wind, gas, everything all in, so you can secure your place in the market, in the energy market, and you can secure your promises in the energy market. What I can say from our point of view is that we are used already of performing all needed actions in order to deliver the production as our clients promised to. Curtailments in negative prices periods, developing some kind of automations in order to not do it manually, finding together with our clients solutions for I know some trading platforms that are integrated with the energy market, with the dispatch center, with the PPC on site of the power plants. Not all of them work continuously because we still depend on communication of other externals, maybe. But yeah, we are used to doing everything. In the dispatch center, in this moment, we have, as I previously said, wind, solar, gas, storage. We just integrated in our SCADA storage system. Soon, in 2 months, we'll have PV plus storage. Actually, we have PV plus wind and storage in the next, this year, by the end of the year of that project. They will also have storage on it. So we do our best. We share our expertise and our technical capabilities in matter of consultancy because we are also investors. So all solutions that we might have were already tested on us and then to the others.
Thank you. I'll move to Paul, and I will pick up on one of the comments made by Stelian earlier. He talked about the challenges in having the right number of people and the right number of qualified people in the field to develop, to build up projects. What is your approach? Do you have the capability to move a large number of people from Romania or for other parts of Europe to Greece, for example, if needed, or how do you work?
Let's say the challenges with the manpower, it's not that you don't have enough, you don't have enough in the right moment. It's a challenge for us to put on the table all the projects if we are starting the projects in 1 month, because for example, Nofar is developing a project in 2 years, but in the moment he has the building permit, it would want to start yesterday. Yeah, so there's the challenge to have.
And they never know when yesterday is, in fact.
Yeah. In the moment they have the building permit, it was a little bit too late to start. Yeah. The challenges, I would say, here to have the right Gantt chart, or to have the right planning for the whole year, that you are covering, let's say, the design of electrical, not only in the spring, and you are working the rest of the summer to build it up. You have to plan also the rest of the year what you will do the next one. So here we have a little bit of gaps, but I would say we could cover them in the moment in a decent way. I wouldn't say in a good way, but in a decent way. As Elena was saying about building the hybrid plants, We worked together in 2023 by commissioning the first hybrid solar and wind plant. And now we are going back there to add the batteries for 2025 because that's
this
the way.
is interesting because it confirms something that I said I think 1 year ago. The people already in the market will grow up and will become bigger, and it will be more and more difficult for new players to enter the Romanian market with each year passing. So I think that is already the case, this form of consolidation and creation of networks of partnership between companies. And
in each of the market, it's the way how you adapt the market, how you understand the regulations of the market, because we are in a region, but everything is a little bit different than in the home market, or Romania it's a little bit different than Greece, or Greece it's a little bit different than Italy. Yeah, we are in a region, but it's a little bit different.
Thank you. 10 minutes probably for conversation. Once again, I turn to you, and if it's anybody who is interested in addressing a question or making a comment, now is the perfect time.
I would like to add something
Please.
On Paul's comment about the hybrid power plant, is that client had wind from the first wave in Romania, and one day he said he wants to do a mixed installation. So all installation was adapted in order to connect the PV in the existing electrical installation of the wind, and then adapted to add the storage in the existing new electrical installation that was created. So that's the most interesting thing, actually, that whatever power plant you might have or whatever technology of sources you might use, technically there will be a solution to mix it up.
Okay, thank you for your comments, and I will ask you, all of you, the same question for closing the conversation, and in the interest of our Greek friends following this. Where is the Romanian market for big renewable plants at the moment? What would be the biggest problem today? And what is the forecast that you have for the next 6 to 1 year from now on, giving into consideration all this already touched, the fiscal problems, the uncertainty and the various ways and so on. So what would be the most important elements from your perspective in each case?
First of all, what means big? What means big power plants? Because,
I'm having in mind more than 50, let's say 20 megawatts.
Yeah, yes, big, then we will define that big means for the operation and maintenance activity having a team on site, for example. That would mean big, because whatever is beyond 20, 30 megawatts installed power, you need the team on site to keep it running.
Okay, use your own definition. Just let us know.
We have the capacity still. We have it's better to connect a smaller one in this moment, as far as I've seen, than to a smaller, meaning 20 up to 50 megawatts in the grid.
Do you see a bigger number of this kind of units being connected to the grid?
Yeah, but it depends the area that we discuss about. If we discuss about north part of Romania, it's a production deficit there, so it has the capacity to accommodate more production.
Okay, the grid is clear now.
Yeah, for example, we have a solar power plant in that area that has no reinforcement, which is pretty odd, with the grid connection agreement issued this time of the life. So that means that in north part of Romania you can install small capacities that could be connected to the distribution network, because for example, you can also connect in Moldavia, in east part of Romania, but you have really few options of transport operations, so also in the distribution network.
Okay.
Depends on the strategy and whatever means big for each one.
That is why it's important to have many perspectives, so we'll see the picture from many views, please.
Yes, so I might refer to your question a little bit further. Romania, 6 years, or what is now the difficulties in order to develop? So I think that in Romania we have a lot of projects. This is not the problem. From the other part that I said, we are a little bit behind, we need to close the gap. But in order to close this gap, we need financing. I think today this is the biggest...
Everybody says there are money everywhere.
Yes, there is money, but there is a lot of money, but you cannot deploy it to the project. Let me ask you one question. Did you see one project of storage finance in Romania? One. That got financing from a bank, from local banks, from, okay, maybe from
Maybe it
other,
is not
from
needed
funds.
necessary because there are some public money and there are also private money.
No, I don't speak about public, yes, the public money. Why? Because the model is not clear. It's not just because they don't want to give the money. As we say, we are in the middle of, there is a lot of money that wants to enter to Romania, but the model, nobody knows how it looks because it's not developed enough. You don't have enough megawatts that are connected.
And you said that the model is not clear, not even for co-located capacities?
For co-located, it's a little bit more clear. For standalone, for sure not. As said Dan, it's now El Dorado of the storage, but it's an El Dorado of theoretically.
Limited period of
very limited. It's very limited, and also the co-location, it's not so easy still to. Yes.
Why?
Again, the
calculation, the financial.
Yes, since you want to build the storage before or when you have the COD, you want already to have the storage, as we said. So there are still some gaps in the numbers and not so big certainty like in other countries. And this is when I say we are one leg behind, because we have, I can tell you from our experience, it's much easier. We have, now we are building 270 megawatts of storage in Germany. Very easy. We got 80% financing from a bank.
And you say that
Everything
this will translate in missing some targets in new capacities installed in Romania? This is what you say?
Yes, there is a gap that must be closed, and this will, when this gap will be closed, then everything will go forward. But till it's not closed, you cannot see it running.
I myself, for 1 year, I've decided not to look at the targets for renewable in Romania, including those that are to be used for hydrogen, for grid hydrogen, but only on the simple target to achieve. But I don't know if you have in mind that larger target of the smaller.
No, it's not. You can look. I will give you. You know, everybody, especially the financial institutes, they are looking on Aurora, Baringa, and so on. You can look at the storage. How much storage Romania, according to what they say, can have in 2027? How much? 700. This is all the market. Again, as I say, if you go today, you hear every 2 steps on the road, or when we are meeting, everybody is doing 100, 200, 300. Everybody is doing... I don't know, you have Monson that have plans of 1 giga. Okay, so, but as you look at the...
Where is the project standing at the moment?
No, you look at, in 2027, isn't it all the market 700? So what we are doing? What is going on?
Thank you. Paul, please, a similar comment on the general situation prospects for the Romanian market.
I would answer to your question with 3 simple words: predictability, planning, and manpower. These are the big problems of the of the Romanian market. But I'm sure it's the whole region, the same situation. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, ladies, gentlemen, for this conversation. I will close building up on your latest remark, and I'd say that we hope that the government in Romania will provide us with predictability for the near future. We should count on the private actors to come with planning, with strategic planning, and building up the good projects we need. And for the manpower, I think it's just your job, Paul. Thank you. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we should stop here for this session. In a couple of minutes, we'll start the another one. Thank you. We will start very, very soon. I just kindly ask the speakers for this next panel to be ready to join me on the podium in 2 minutes, and we'll start then. Thank you. Okay, we are ready to start. So the next 35 minutes with 3 speakers to discuss a little bit more about the expanding horizons between the 2 countries, Greece and Romania. I invite now on the podium Mr. Nicolaos Kalievodiakos from Enerta. Hi, nice to meet you in person, and thank you very much for joining us. Please take a seat. Dan Fleșariu, CEO of Iron, a company coming from Romania. Hello, Dan. Have a seat. Thank you very much. And Filipos Falieros, Advisory Project Leader with Aurora Energy Research, a name you're probably very familiar with. Hi, Filipos. Thank you. Take a seat. We are privileged for the next minutes to also have some expert perspectives on the Greek market, so that we can mix them together for at the end of these 2 sessions. And I will join you. I will start with the manager from Enerta, a company about which I heard 6 months ago, I believe, when I heard about their being ready to come in Romania and to launch an office in Bucharest. And I am curious now, and I invite you, like we did in the previous session, to say a few words about Enerta and about what you consider of interest in Romania at the moment, why deciding to be in Romania at present.
Thank you, Gabriel, for the invitation. I am Nikos Kolivodiakos. I am the head of operations of Enerta. Enerta is a Greek company established back in 1973. Actually, we are over 50 years in the field of energy and infrastructure. We are in partnership with more than 30 companies all over the world, experts in their field, and we are suppliers of the utilities in Greece, and also in the independent power producers and the EPC contractors in the private sector with equipment, solutions and services to cover all their needs that have to do either with the expansion, the modernization, the upgrade of the distribution and transmission networks, or in the private sector with the EPC contractors for building high voltage and medium voltage substations, but also recently, in the last 2-3 years, with the big development of the renewable energy solutions here in Greece, to build photovoltaic parks, connection to the grid, inverters, and also one thing which is very critical for the sustainability of the network, the energy storage systems.
It seems like the energy transition in Europe was designed for your company because we are active in all these areas you mentioned, from the grids.
We are just supporting all the players of the market to come together and to execute the projects.
What have you seen in Romania at the moment, and why do you consider a proper moment to open an office in Bucharest?
We see the market in Romania the way it was the market in Greece a couple of years ago. A lot of prospects for expansion, a small percentage in the energy production of renewable energy, but with targets, with ambitious targets, 10 gigawatt more of renewable energy to be built within the next 5 years to meet the target of 2030 for 30% of the
You heard about the prospects are the targets are not to be touched, but the
main thing
and the
is
ambitions remain.
The prospects of this market have also attracted our customers in the Greek market to enter the Romanian market. Our customers, because we are main supplier of Public Power Corporation, of HEDNO and of IPTO. We are also, I think, very good partners of the other Greek companies that have entered there, like Hellenic, like Bethlen, like Terna, like Titan Cement. So we have to follow our customers. We are trying to, let's say, apply the successful business model that we have done over the last 3 years, 4 years here in Greece, also in Romania.
Thank you. We'll come back to dive in a little bit more. Dan, I will ask you to say a couple of words about Wiron and about the Romanian general landscape. I know that you have prepared a map for us, so the technical team will help us to see it on the screen. A few words about Wiron.
Sure. Yes, we are a Romanian group of companies, actually. We started as an EPC. But we started somehow backwards than other companies, meaning that we started by delivering EPC services outside of Romania. We have delivered projects of almost 700 megawatts in Portugal, in Spain, in the Benelux area. But now we are also focusing on Romania. In Romania, we are among we are considered among the large EPC providers. We have the capacity to provide in Romania and outside of Romania full EPC services for about 25 megawatts per month. We have, since the end of last year, we have established also our own investment arm, and we started securing our own projects. Generally from ready to build to COD and then to operate them as an IPP. We will probably have the first projects of our own in operations next year. We know very well the Romanian market, and of course this event is not actually about us. It's about Romania and Greece. And why should Romania be interested in Greece, and why should Greece be interested in Romania? Because we are facing now a deeper and deeper integrated European market. You are already, since last month, you are already connected to the Picasso platform. We will be connected in 2026, next year. We will both be connected next year also to the Mari platform. And actually this brings, let's say, international competition not at our doorstep, but into our living room. And I think it's not a matter of being willing of going regional, it's a matter of being actually obliged to go regional. So we really need, both of us, Greeks and Romanians, we need to start really not thinking but acting into becoming regional, at least regional players. That's about it for now. Maybe we are going to have
Thank you. I will kindly ask you for a short comment, and one of the, please keep the mic for a moment, because I want a short answer on this question. Please, Dan.
Yes.
I heard many times in Romania in recent weeks, and yesterday here in Greece also, this comment about the unreasonable differences in prices in Central Europe and in Southeastern Europe. 2-3 times large price on day-ahead market in this situation. A comment, how do you see the situation? I also saw the Minister of Energy in Romania pushing at Brussels about something must be done with those countries who are not acting in solidarity with the others, putting their grids to be available for all of us. How do you see this situation? Is this a problem, or is this an opportunity for the players in Romania and Greece?
Well, first of all, every problem is an opportunity.
If it doesn't kill you first.
Correct. I think it's easy to point to someone else for what is happening in your own house. I think we need to put order in our own house before pointing our fingers outwards. Yes, we have imbalancing problems, big problems, and this is because let's say the legislation was not actually correlated, meaning we started to implement, but it is not only for us. We started to implement massively renewable projects without proper consideration to the balancing aspects. Now we're starting doing that. We have functional legislation, for instance, for storage. You know, we eliminated the transportation tariffs, so we eliminated the double taxation, yes. For instance, there is a regulation passed by our TSO that, for instance, when you have a renewable project, and you provide from the beginning 4 hours of storage for the same power, for the same rated power, of course. You provide 4 hours of storage, then basically you can get rid of grid reinforcement cost. Of course, there are certain exceptions in very, very loaded areas where you still have some reinforcement cost, but generally, this is the case.
It's a good step ahead, of course.
Yeah, it's a good step ahead. On the other hand, we have a functional CFD market like you. Now speaking of why coming to Romania, I can give you some figures because, for instance, in 2024, on the CFD market auction, we had the strike price for solar was, if I remember correctly, 65 euros per megawatt hour, and for photovoltaic was 51. But at the auction that was in April, meaning less than 2 months ago, we had a strike price of 80 euros per megawatt hour for wind, and I think 73 euros per megawatt hour for solar. So you see the market was adjusted upwards. I wouldn't fall into the trap of considering that this is the trend. I would rather say that this is the moment.
We will have another point in this potential graph in this fall when Romania will launch, as they promised, another round for CFD. So we'll see a little bit more. Thank you very much, Dan. I will now move to Philippos and ask him to say first a couple of words about Aurora and then focus on their latest report on storage solutions and how they might be used maybe differently in Romania and Greece.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the invite and the question. For those who don't know Aurora Energy Research, we are the leaders in Europe on market analytics. The company has been more than 10 years now. It was initially in Oxford, but now we have different offices on many countries, so we can be close to market stakeholders and follow the market trends. I am based in Athens, and we cover from our office here the whole Southeastern Europe region, and for us this consists Hungary, Romania, and all the way to the south to Greece. Definitely, Romania is maybe the hottest market that we cover now from our office here. There is great appetite for investments there, and the reason for that, it was also discussed in the previous panel, is that maybe the country has the momentum, but it's a couple of years behind in terms of capacity development on renewables. So there are opportunities there. And these opportunities also are located on the balancing market, not only the wholesale. We see that Romania has the highest prices on imbalance cost for renewables, which is a hurdle for this technology. However, this can work as an opportunity for storage and flexible assets. And my team is the advisory, and we usually cover bespoke requests from clients. So we can be quite flexible, covering different things such as maybe strategy, feedback on CFD support, M&As, battery storage valuation, comparison between co-located and standalones. And we saw the interest in Romania being very high on storage, and that's why we developed a report that we update every 6 months. So based on that, we can compare what we see in Romania and Greece. Both countries are still lacking a very clear regulatory framework of how batteries can commit to ancillary services. We see that the TSOs in both countries are pushing and lobbying for more capacity, and it was previously also discussed that there is no clear on how many gigawatts of storage we can expect on each market. We have the NECP targets being very low, amounting of about 1.2 gigawatts of storage until 2030. And there is also the ministry lobbying for 5 gigawatts of storage until the end of 2026. So it's very hard to assess what will be the future. So, however, this showcases that there is interest for storage. There are also 2 auctions with support of 300 million for both co-located and standalone batteries. And the high imbalance cost on Romania make investments there on storage more profitable than in Greece. Other struggles, other hurdles maybe on the market is the fastest reserve on the market is the FCR. And this is a non-remunerated product in Romania, while in Greece, batteries can really capitalize from that market. So if they change the market design and maybe follow what we have in Greece, this will even
very good point. It is something
storage.
particular that Romania might look at and eventually use it as a good practice. Philippos, maybe one comment on the experience in this blackout in Spain, Portugal, France. And one of the explanation I heard and seems pretty plausible is that the size of the problem would have decreased if more batteries would have been installed in the grid, so that the grid have an increased inertia or a better response to losing inertia, in fact, in milliseconds and not in seconds or minutes. How do this lesson should be transferred in legislation and regulation, I suppose? So that we have, for example, in Romania and many other countries, a market for these kind of services. Is there something that we should do as a private actors in the energy market in order to push for that? Are there any examples where already some markets like this exist?
So the question is if inertia could be offered from batteries. So inertia usually is from
not inertia to be offered, but losing inertia to be counterbalanced by very fast reaction battery.
So yeah, this is a very technical question, to be honest. So yeah, it's something that we don't cover, but I could comment that the fast response is available as a product in Romania to secure the stability of the system. However, it's not remunerated, and every flexible unit is forced to offer this when requested by ESO.
Maybe after the session, I'm interested in your views, and I'm convinced at the moment that we need this new market in place, across Europe, because there is a new technology responding to new type of challenges in the system. So we should have a market for this. Please.
I would like to say the following. Because usually the production out of renewable sources is not predictable, because you cannot predict precisely wind or sun, and because usually the demand, the installed capacity is larger than the demand, energy storage is necessary in order to guarantee this balance that you need. And I also see that these transmission system operators have done plans regarding it. And I have also seen that Transelectrica, for example, has foreseen at least 5 gigawatt of energy storage projects to be installed until end of 2026, actually. So I think we are moving towards this.
At the moment, I think that all the pressure is put on the TSOs to solve this problem. It is your duty, balance the system, or this kind of pressure only transfer in bigger tariffs, and we affect the affordability, and we have social problems, and so on. So we seem to be caught in this conundrum here. I think that individual solution provided by smaller players in the market operating in a regulated market might be the solution in rather short period of time, matters of years, I suppose. That's why I bring this to the table. Please.
I don't know if this works. Thank you. Works? Yes. Yes, again, is not the responsibility of only one player to solve all the problems. Right now, let's say from the legal regulations point of view, indeed the balancing market at TSO level is quite well regulated, and it's working. The auctions for balancing services are functional. I can give even some rough numbers, but whoever wants to hear them, I will be available after the meeting. But we do have legislation that we are working on, actually. to introduce legislation for flexibility services at the DSO level. And we already have legislation at prosumer level that compels them to add storage to at prosumer level. And also what we are seeing now is that all the utility scale renewable projects are already being permitted with storage behind the meter. So I would expect that everything that will be, maybe not everything, but most of the projects that will be delivered starting with next year are going to be to a large extent self-balanced.
This last idea you mentioned is very good in order to prevent introducing new imbalances from now on the system. They are not enough in order to contribute to faster reaction and so on. And I think that this is not enough. Obviously, we need other approaches.
This is correct. This is correct. We would need much more storage right now in terms of standalone BESS projects at TSO level. They are coming.
You heard earlier, Stelian, he said there is no business case for that.
They are permitted.
The banks will not. The banks
exactly.
Will not
we have this problem right now that the banks are not yet familiar and therefore they are not yet comfortable with a non-recourse financing for standalone BESS.
You think they are wrong at the moment?
From their point of view, and I can relate to their point of view because many, many years ago, I'm coming from the financial sector. So I can relate to that. Since they are working 92% with other people's money, they have to be very careful what kind of risks they undertake. So I can relate to that. And we are working, we as market players ourselves, and also Chiga, that they were speakers before me, and I don't know, maybe you are also involved in this, to educate the financial sector and to help them to understand the storage phenomenon. And to come up
we are
with
in a large process of
model.
educating ourselves, all of us, because...
Just 1 second, because again, this is an opportunity. Because I'm sure there are a lot of private equity funds, mezzanine funds, that have the correct risk-return profile, and they can step in. And actually, it's their moment to shine.
Okay, so you mentioned some more complex venues of getting finance, but
complex problems require complex solutions.
Thank you, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, if any question or comments, you can show your interest and I'll be there with the mic. We have another 9-10 minutes, I suppose, so I will suggest to move a little bit back again to the corporate perspective, not system perspective. So, Nikos, you can tell us a few words about what you find to be different, specific to Romania and doing business compared with Greece, only to inform those interested in the Romanian market on what risks or specificities they may expect.
First of all, I would like to express my feelings, to tell you my feelings about our presence in Romania over the last almost 10 months or something. We actually feel very welcome in this country as a Greek company.
You are welcome.
Everybody is very friendly to us, having also into consideration the traditional, historical, cultural and commercial relations between Romania and Greece. This is something that was expected, but in any case, it was very nice to see that also happen. It was actually an early stage identification period for us this last months. Although this was like that, we already managed to get 2 contracts in Romania, one in the public sector, one in the private sector, and we are continuing to participate in many tenders there. Now, what is different? Okay. there are differences in the market, and they are also coming from the history, from the past. For example, public tenders. Okay, public tenders in Greece and public tenders in Romania follow certain rules and have some terms and conditions. However,
Sorry, just a moment here, a question. Did you find mandatory to have a local partner in order to understand and participate
in our office, we have already hired 2 persons, Romanians, experts in the market to support, because, of course, otherwise we cannot act. But we have also a 3rd guy, Greek one, who is regularly in the country, and we will expand according to the business case. I guess it is necessary to have local support because they know the market. You are entering there. What I would like to say regarding the tenders, what I have seen that maybe from historical reasons, I don't know, there are some terms and conditions that are not aligned actually with the modern trends in Europe, in other European utilities. For example, having participated in a tender without cap on the liability of the bidder, or having to pay indemnification to the end customer in case of bad performance, that is a percentage of the turnover of the customer, which is actually an indirect loss. These are terms and conditions that we don't see in Greece, but also in other European utilities. I think this is something that the responsible persons have taken into consideration. This is one aspect that we face in the public sector. If I would like to speak for the private sector, we see the following. Because the development in the private sector actually is happening very fast, the specifications of the equipment are not following exactly the needs of the market. This happened also in Greece. When we started the EPC contractor trying to build a substation, they had to follow the specifications of the utility, which were very strict given the fact that all the equipment of the substation was the property of the owner of the substation and not of the state. So we adapted that. We have done some slightly easier specifications that do not harm the performance of the equipment, do not affect it, but on the other hand, save some cost, making the investment more attractive for the owner. And we have now slightly changed specification for the private market. I think you should also in Romania move toward this direction.
Thank you. Thank you. Very useful, both perspective you show. And once again, this comment show what all of the speakers already mentioned, that Romania is a couple of years behind in terms of developing the market compared with Greece, for example.
Yes, but don't consider this as a negative aspect. This is natural.
Okay,
you learn.
This is the situation. It's a factual description. Okay, okay. Please, Dan, a couple of words about you. I know that you worked for some period of time in Greece, so you're quite familiar with the cultural norms and the difference, if any, compared to the Romanian market. Is there something in particular that you feel like it would be useful for our Greek friends to know when taking into consideration working with a Romanian company here or in Romania?
This is the one? Yes. No, I didn't work. I was studying here. I'm a graduate of the Alba Business School back in '97. There is a big difference between life in Greece in '97 and life in Greece today. I think all of you would agree to that. But there are some cultural differences which actually they come from our geographical location. Geography always affects you. But in terms of business, I think we are quite well aligned in terms of, you know, the way we do business. We are quite well aligned, and you are already there, and we have here in this room, we have other Greek people, business people that are doing business in Romania for many years. It's easy. It's quite easy for Greek people to do business in Romania, and I'm sure it's reciprocal.
Okay, great.
We are interested in doing business in Greece. We are looking for partners.
As a matter of fact, we insisted very much on this idea that at this moment, being regional is a must for all companies involved in the energy sector, at least. So, very useful to know.
This regionalization, if you want, I think it best works when you are looking for partnerships. You don't just step in a country and try to do it your own way. You need to have a local partner who knows the local ways, even if they are similar to your own ways. There is always a difference. And this is what we have done in Serbia. In Serbia, we are present with a Serbian partner. And we are interested to do the same here.
Thank you, Philippos. In a way, the same question. I think they already mentioned some idea on how Greece is ahead of Romania in terms of regulating the storage market. But if you can share a thought or two, maybe on what you expect that will happen in Romania for the next 1 year, and what do you expect is important to be happening in Greece in the next period of time?
Very good question, and allow me to explain more what I mean with Greece being maybe a leg in front from the storage, but only maybe a few months, because the regulatory framework for batteries participation on the balancing market was under public consultation at the beginning of the year. And about a month ago it closed. So we're expecting other markets in the region, Romania, Bulgaria, to follow this trend. Romania, one could argue that it's in front in terms of development of storage on capacity mix, because Romania already has 150 active batteries in the system, while Greece has 0. So I was commenting mainly on only that specific part there. So how the market would, what will be the developments within the next year in Greece? We expect that we're going to have negative prices on the balancing energy market, and this is something that Romania has for a lot of years, and maybe it's also leading to that very high volatility and very high imbalance cost in the system. This will be also a benefit for batteries and for renewables to offer dispatchable services that currently is a pain, that we have grid curtailment, very high grid curtailment rates in Greece. In Romania, we foresee a lot of development of renewable assets that will be complemented also with storage. So we see more co-located projects penetrating the market than we see in Greece. In Greece, we had already the 3 rounds of CFD auctions, and now the ministerial decision giving connection terms of 4 gigawatts of storage, but still for a standalone project. So each market choosing its own path, and I think this has to do with Greece being already very congested with renewables, while Romania still having the opportunity you commented also before.
Thank you, gentlemen, for this conversation. I think that it was very informative, for me at least it was, and it would provide us at Energynomics with a solid base for some follow-up editorial efforts. Some articles will be published online and in the near future. Thank you also the organizers for having us here, I think, but especially in this session we put together the economics and the engineer. So the economist, energy economist in Greece had us here for 2 hours, and thank you very much for this. We will stop now. I think that we'll have the final comments now. Please. Thank you very much. Thank you also for attention.
Έχουμε φτάσει λοιπόν στο τέλος, στην ουσία του συνεδρίου, σε ό,τι αφορά αυτή την αίθουσα, γιατί το συνέδριο συνεχίζεται, υπάρχουν τα παράλληλα sessions στην άλλη αίθουσα, τα ακαδημαϊκά. Ήταν 3 μέρες οι οποίες είχαν πολύ μεγάλο ενδιαφέρον. Θα ξεκινήσω από το τελευταίο πάνελ. Ήταν πολύ ενδιαφέρον το κομμάτι της σύζευξης ή παράλληλης γνώσης ανάμεσα στην Ελλάδα και στη Ρουμανία. Ήταν πολύ ενδιαφέροντα αυτά που ακούσαμε τις τελευταίες 2-2,5 ώρες, με θέματα τα οποία παρατηρούμε και στην Ελλάδα, αλλά και στη Ρουμανία, κοινά προβλήματα ή παράλληλοι δρόμοι, πώς προσπαθούμε να κινηθούμε προς το ένα πράσινο μέλλον, έτσι, και είναι ευχάριστο το γεγονός ότι και η Ρουμανία, αλλά και εμείς παρατηρούμε τα ίδια προβλήματα και προσπαθούμε να βοηθήσουμε μία την άλλη και εξάγοντας τεχνογνωσία και γνώση και προβλήματα και εισάγοντας λύσεις, οπότε ήταν πολύ ενδιαφέρον για μας αυτά τα πάνελ, ήταν πολύ εξαιρετικά και ευχαριστούμε πολύ για το πώς στήθηκαν και το πώς παρουσιάστηκαν, αλλά και τις προηγούμενες μέρες όπου είχαμε μια πληθώρα από πάνελ, από συνεδρίες, από ομιλίες, οι οποίες προσπάθησαν, όπως κάθε φορά στα συμπόσια, να καλύψουμε όλη την ενεργειακή αγορά της Ελλάδος και φέτος και μιας άλλης χώρας. Πολύ δύσκολο να το καταφέρεις. 3 μέρες είναι πάρα πολύ λίγες για αυτό το πόνημα, αυτή τη διαδικασία. Κάθε χρόνο υπάρχουν καινούργια σημεία. Κάθε χρόνο προσπαθούμε να είμαστε στην αιχμή της τεχνολογίας και των προβλημάτων. Έτσι, προσπαθούμε να τα αναδείξουμε και να δούμε, να έχουμε λύσεις και από τις εταιρείες, αλλά και από την πολιτεία. Προσπαθούμε να ενθαρρύνουμε το διάλογο, γι' αυτό γίνεται αυτό το συμπόσιο, γι' αυτό είναι η Ελληνική Εταιρεία Ενεργειακής Οικονομίας εδώ. 10 χρόνια προσπαθούμε λοιπόν να ενθαρρύνουμε αυτή τη διαδικασία, να έρθουν κοντά και οι ακαδημαϊκοί αλλά και οι εταιρείες που προσπαθούν να προχωρήσουμε. Συμβουλευτικές εταιρείες έχουμε εδώ διάφορες εταιρείες, οι οποίες προσπαθούν σιγά-σιγά να μπουν στην αγορά, άλλες μικρότερες, άλλες μεγαλύτερες, αλλά είναι τόσο μεγάλος ο χώρος και τόσο πολύ σύνθετο το πεδίο που πραγματικά έχει πολύ ενδιαφέρον. Θα ήθελα να σας ευχαριστήσω. Ελπίζουμε την επόμενη χρονιά, στο 11ο, να έχουμε το κουράγιο να το κάνουμε καλύτερο. Αυτό θέλουμε. Είναι εδώ τα παιδιά μπροστά, ελπίζω να το δουλέψουμε ακόμα καλύτερα. Ευχαριστούμε την Deloitte που μας φιλοξένησε και φέτος. Και εύχομαι καλή συνέχεια σε ό,τι κάνετε και του χρόνου με περισσότερα προβλήματα, προκειμένου να βρούμε και εμείς περισσότερες λύσεις. Σας ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ.